That's way out of order. Don't you know that God has his own choices for people? And we as the people of God have got to understand that we should not push like that. But when we do, we start to plague those same individuals with loneliness and insecurities and low self-esteem. And but don't singles face enough as it is? A single person, it's funny when I start reading this stuff, it got really interesting to me. You know what I found out that they pay higher taxes because they're single? They have more difficulty getting credit because they're single. Don't you know that their insurance policies are higher? Mortgage loans are hard to get. Job promotions are difficult. And even get a decent seat in a restaurant. It's hard to even find one of those if you're single. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing to me at some of the basic difficulties they had. Now, I was surprised, but it helped me to understand more of where they are and who they are. For those really that wanted to get married and even meeting other singles, it's a problem. Because in our society, we say, well, you got to go to the bar, or you got to go to the night spot. Now, those kind of relationships are very fleeting, as you find out. They don't last, and they're usually very, very, very destructive, which means they cause a lot of problems. So they're not good things. So, but for the church world, it's even more difficult. You tend to find the people of God seeking out, they have hard times even tolerating sometimes single people. In single relationships, they have a very difficult time even going through that process. Marriages, the married seem always to want to isolate from the singles. When single men or single women come into the church, it's amazing how that the married folks kind of like back away. They don't get close. They don't show that love or concern. Or people that are different from them, they don't want to become intimate with those, but they want to open their arms, hearts to these people. And this is what we're called to do, people of God. We're called to bring them into the storehouse. We're going to go to the hedges and highways and compel them to come. We can't do that unless we show the love of God. We can't do that unless we open our arms and hearts to whether they be married or single people. But we find ourselves many times because of the reality of singleness in our society, because of the issues of the day, because of the problems that have arisen, that we don't deal with those things. And we in the church have to start here. We have to start at the place where life starts for the spiritual minded man and woman. This is the place where people have an opportunity to grow and become greater than they ever could. Why would you want to push them out by not allowing them to experience some of the greater blessings of the kingdom because you don't like the way things are, or because you don't like the way they look, or because they look like this or they act like that? You got to open up your heart and your mind to the people of God. Whatever God brings into the house, you allow them to come. You make them feel comfortable in coming. Don't make them feel obscure, isolated. Haven't they been isolated enough? Haven't they had to deal with enough of the issues of our society as it is already? Why don't we show more love? Why can't we show more concern? Why can't we open our arms and hearts to the people as they come through the doors? But we run more people out than we could ever bring in because we refuse to show the love of God. We refuse to open our hearts and minds to people that are not like us. We got to get away from the us thing anyway, because we ain't nothing in ourselves. Ain't nobody here of any value outside of the Spirit of God. Any value you have is what God has placed in your spirit by His Spirit. Don't you know that we got issues and problems, and we got people that we deal with on the outside of this place, and we got to learn how to show love and concern to these people who want to be more than what they've ever been. It's our own fault, the reason why some people have been hindered in the kingdom. It's our own fault by how we act and how we react, what we do and what we say, how we've never represented the mind of God in any extent the way we're supposed to. And we wonder why people don't want to be around you, why people want to avoid you, why people don't want to deal with you. It ain't because you talk about Jesus, it's because they don't see Jesus in you. Take a deep breath behind that. That's a problem. But it's true anyhow. We call ourselves the people of God. We say we have received the Spirit of God on the inside. God has spoken to us through another language. He thought so much of us. I'm going to change. First thing I'm going to change in you is that filthy tongue you got. I'm going to change that nasty tongue. So I'm going to give you my Spirit. It's going to make you speak another language. Something you ain't never going to understand, so don't try it. But I want to change you from the inside out versus the outside in. That's when we ain't trying to be no hypocritical folks. I'm up here wearing a little something, but you know what? I like a casual day too. I like wearing blue jeans and t-shirt. Ain't nothing wrong with going to the bowling alley or watching a movie. You know what the problem is? We get mixed up in our heads, and we got the wrong idea about what church is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be a people who love the true living God. People that are trying to do better in their own heart. They know they're a mess. See, we in the church, we realize something. We know we're messed up. We know we got problems. We know we got issues. We know we ain't that special. But we know if God don't help us, we ain't got no help. We know if God will come by and visit us, we ain't got no opportunity at all. But because we serve a true and living God who loves us with an everlasting love and wants to help us out of our mess, then we can get the help we need if we seek his face in truth. Now the problem is we don't want to seek his face in truth. We're so preoccupied with the concept of church. So preoccupied with the mindset that we've had. That this is slowful, this is foolish, this is ignorant acting, and we want to call ourselves saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, water baptized, on the way to Jesus and so glad. What you glad about? You ain't living nothing? Don't you know that we need to look at the single population in the church? Those brothers and sisters that we have that will come in the midst of us. I say singleness because we all have a certain level of singleness. We all have experienced certain levels of loneliness, of being by ourselves, not fully having all that we feel that we need from any level of relationship. I'm telling you today, we need to have committed relationships in our lives. We need to be to have circles of friends. We need to be willing to be intimate one with another. Be able to talk to them enough about real things. I ain't talking about the silly stuff, but we can talk about peanut butter and jellies, cookies and pies. We can talk about the basketball, football, kickball games, the NFL, the CBS, the CBA, the NCE, the AAC, and the RESPCCC. Hey, but ain't none of that gonna help you. Ain't none of that. It's all about a bunch of junk. That's a whole lot of mess. We need stuff that's gonna help us. We need the Word of God that's gonna encourage us. Now I done got way over here, and I want to go way back into this lesson. So please understand one thing. I love every one of you. I want to see God do great things in everyone's life. And we can be greater and better and more. All we got to do is strive to walk with our God. Strive to be obedient to his will. Strive to stand in the ways that are pleasing in his sight. And we can do more. We can be more. And we can live more. We just need to stand up for this thing like we're supposed to. We call ourselves the people of God. Be the people of God. Be Christ-focused, Spirit-led, and God-honoring. You know, it's time for us to start honoring our God in the way we act and the things we say. Time to be led by the Spirit of God. Let him continue to speak to our hearts. I hear people talking about the hearing the voice of God. That's a blessing. To hear the voice of God, to know that God hears me, to know that God speaks to me, to know that God loves me enough to be that close to me. Don't you know that's an honor and a blessing? That there are people who wish they could hear the voice of God, who pray to hear the voice of God and don't hear it. They have yet to receive this fullness of the Spirit. That only know that there's a God and he gets some goosebumps every once in a while. Ain't that a shame that you got him on the inside and you treat him so badly? You acting like he's a stranger. You don't treat him like, you don't show him the love that he deserves because he loves you. And he loved you more than anyone could ever imagine. He loved you enough to die for you. He shed his precious blood for you. One of those drops of blood that fell from him came for you. Don't you know that your name was written in a book in eternity? And in time you'll be able to walk in those precious streets of gold and continue in his way? He said, if you continue in my word, then you'll be my disciple indeed. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. It's time to be set free, people of God. It's time to walk in the freedom that God has for us. Because we are special people. We're a great people. We're anointed people. God has given us his Spirit, and he wants only great things out of us. But the single life is what it is. I never imagined 40% of our society is single. And then to tell me some of the categories why they were single, that blew my mind. I was amazed. Divorce being 60%. That means 60% of people that get married, you get 3 people that get married, 2 of them will get divorced. Wow. And the rates are still increasing. What's that telling me? Man. And then you got some that live long enough where they have the millions of widows. That amazed me. Well, I know my mother's a widow. She had a husband for 57 years, and he died. But you know what? It's amazing. So people go through these kind of things, and they find themselves being single, trying to get re-identified, trying to get their own identity back, and trying to find levels of security and find levels of peace in their own heart. And we have to understand, you know what? It's a blessing. Now I'm getting ready to blow y'all mind for a little bit. We're going to go into 1 Corinthians 7th chapter. We're going to find out about something that Paul says is going to shock you a little bit. All right?
What chapter?
This is 1 Corinthians the 7th chapter. I got to find the verse because I really didn't get to the verse. I was so caught up in this lesson, it blew me away this morning. I was trying to get it together. It's big. It's just really, 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 really deep. All right. All right. All right. I'm going to pass all that. Yeah, I better leave that one alone. All right. Huh? 1 Corinthians 7th chapter. This whole chapter actually talks about, it talks about marriage. Marriage in a whole lot of ways. But we're going to drop down to verse number, wow, what is the actual verse? Let's do a little reading. Let's start with verse number 26. Yes, let's start with verse number 26. Yeah.